All right, welcome to Lesson 7. This is order of operations, and those of you familiar with order of operations probably have learned about PEMDAS. Up on the board you can see PEMDAS, and some students have memorized, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." That's a very common phrase to remember the order in which you need to operate equations that you're given. The P stands for parentheses, the E stands for exponents, the M, multiply, D, divide, A, add, and S, subtract. Today we're not going to use the E for exponents because you don't have any equations with exponents for quite a while, but we will talk about the rest of the letters. So whenever you get an equation, let's take 10 minus 5 plus 3 and 10 minus 5 plus 3. Now you're going to get the same answer, right? 10 minus 5 is 5 plus 3 is 8. Well, when we put parentheses around it, it's going to change things. So let's say you have parentheses here and parentheses here. And you try to solve it again. Oh, 10 minus 5 is 5 plus 3 is 8. 10 minus 5 is 5 plus 3 is 8. That's not going to work. The parentheses say, or the PEMDAS says that parentheses go first. So whenever you see those parentheses, and you can think of it like this, me first, all right? That's how I've heard it before. So whenever you see those, they're calling for you to do those first. P is always first. So in the equation, no matter where the parentheses are at, the middle, the front, the back, you do that first. So in this equation, the 5 plus 3 is 8. So you can just erase that, change it to 8. In this equation, the 10 minus 5 is 5. So we'll erase that, change that to 5. Now the parentheses don't matter anymore. They have a number inside of it. I'll move those out of the way so they're not a distraction. And now look at our two problems. 10 minus 8 is 2, and 5 plus 3 is 8. Two different answers, and both are correct because they pertain to the problem with the parentheses on them. It changed things. So you have to do the parentheses first, or you might get the answer wrong. After that's exponents, I said I was going to skip. And then comes multiply and divide. Now, when you get to this stage, multiply and divide, they're actually interchangeable, and divide can become the one you do first. All right? That confuses a lot of students because the M is first, but actually, whenever you get to multiplying and dividing, you just work the problem from left to right. So if it was 40 divided by 5 times 2, you would think, oh, multiply then divide. That's 10. 4 divided by 10 is 4. When in reality, you could go 40 divided by 5 is 8 times 2 is 16. And the answer is 16. Okay? So when you get to the M and the D, you go left to right. It does not matter which one's first. If you have only multiplying and dividing in your problem, you start on the left, work across. So 40 divided by 5 is 8 times 2 is 16. In the same way, the A and the S also are interchangeable. So if you have a problem that has adding and subtracting, there's no parentheses involved to distract you, you could do the subtracting first and then the adding. Or if it's left to right and the adding's first, you do the adding first. So you can get a problem that says 10 minus 6 plus 2. And you're not going to go, oh, A is first in PEMDAS. Let me add those. That's 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. Just go straight across. If you're only dealing with adding and subtracting, start from left, go to the right. So 10 minus 6 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Okay? Now let's take a look at some examples from your homework. From reteach number 7, let's start with number 2. 40 minus 20 minus 12. 40 minus 20 minus 12, however, 20 minus 12 is in parentheses, right? Me first. Do the parentheses first. So 20 minus 12 is 8. We will change this to an 8. And now your new problem is 40 minus 8, which is 32. So you've finished one problem. Let's try one with division or multiplication now. Let's see. How about number 5? This one might look a little confusing because there's two numbers in parentheses with the fraction bar line and an 8 on the bottom. Okay, let's first of all figure what this is exactly saying. When you have two numbers right next to each other with parentheses separating them, there's no symbol in the middle, it's multiplication. This says 12 times 24. That's what it says, 12 times 24. Okay? This line, the fraction bar, is a division line. So this is 12 times 24 divided by 8. Now, up here, multiplication goes first, then division. It's interchangeable, and you would work it from left to right. We don't have really a left to right, we have top to bottom. So you go top to bottom. So you start here, and then you divide by 8. So, 12 times 24, we have to work that out on the side. That's 8, that's 4. Don't forget to drop down the 0. And then this would be 24. 8, 8, 2. Now we have 288 divided by 8. All right, so we would have to divide that out. 288 divided by 8. 2 goes into 28 3 times, making 24. Brother subtract, and then brother bring down. 8 goes into 48 6 times perfectly. Since it fits perfect and we're at the edge of a fraction, we are done. 36. So number 5, 12 times 24 divided by 8 is 36. Hope that helped, and if you have any questions, of course, come and see me. Thank you.